Shockingly, the United States Constitution does not, according to Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Antonin Scalia, prohibit, quote, discrimination on the basis of sex, end quote. Whatever protections are afforded women as a result of legislation, the absence of protection in our most sacred document, the Constitution, remains a disrespect of women which is shameful. If we don't rectify this egregious omission, then we will continue to be seen as uncaring and inhumane as a nation. It is time to give women the rights that they have waited for so long to have. The Equal Rights Amendment, first introduced to Congress in 1923 by Alice Paul, is an amendment that states, quote, equality under the law that shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex, end quote. This seemingly obvious choice of an amendment was turned down after only falling 3 states short of approval in 1982. Now that we are in a more progressive time, except for Donald Trump, of course, it'll be easier to pass the Equal Rights Amendment. Social media, such as Facebook or Twitter, provide a platform to use to promote the ERA so that we can ensure that we do not fall short once more. Organizations like the AAUW, American Association of University Women, will play a major role in helping to get ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment. First of all, the ERA is a necessity if women are to finally obtain rights. According to the AAUW, full-time working women were only being paid 80% of what a man was paid in 2015. They also predicted that, based on a small percentage change from earlier years, it would take a whopping 43 years before that gap would be closed. However, the inequality doesn't stop at a pay gap or a glass ceiling. It even extends itself to sexual violence. In a country based on freedom and equality, that doesn't seem very equal to me. Other countries have an international bill titled the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. The United States, a country based on equality, seem to have forgot half of their population when not joining in on this bill. Actress Patricia Arquette, an advocate for women's rights, stated, quote, "The United Nations has deemed the United States to be a country that does not adequately protect women's human rights," end quote. The United Nations are correct in believing this. If we don't pass the ERA, then we won't be seen as the progressive, always moving forward country that we seek to be. Secondly, the ERA shouldn't be too difficult in this time. Passing it will be the next step, just like the recent step of legalizing gay marriage. Passing it will also be a major step towards closing the massive pay gap. I was talking to a colleague of mine recently when I was writing my speech, and I said to him that I was writing my speech on the ERA. He said, "I thought that was passed a long time ago." His words reflect that of America's. If we were to bring awareness to the fact that the ERA isn't in the Constitution, then it would be much easier to pass it. The film industry has picked up on this idea and has recently made the documentary titled Equal Means Equal, with the purpose of raising awareness for women's rights. It showcases unpunished rape, unfunded women's shelters, ignored family leave problems, and the pay gap. The New York Times review of this documentary stated that it shocked the viewers with specific details of women in our society. This documentary is an example of how we as a nation are going to bring about the ERA into its rightful place of our Constitution through publicity. Finally, there are many groups like the AAUW who will help in the achievement of the ERA. NOW, the National Organization of Women, and the Feminist Majority Foundation are 2 major groups that will help in the ERA. They use social media, and also NOW specifically states that they will achieve their goals through, quote, quote, direct mass actions, grassroots political organizing, intensive lobbying, and litigation, end quote. With the social media, the platforms, and the methods of enforcement, we will finally be able, with all these groups, to pass the ERA. Quote, "Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States, or by any state on account of sex." 24 words that grant millions of women self-confidence, pride in their sex, wealth, and an equal chance. What a wonderful thing an amendment can do. The only thing left to do is pass it. Whatever it might cost, it'll be worth it in the long run, when my children will see that a woman is no less than a man. Sorry. We need to pass the ERA so that we can be the America we boast to be.